블록체인 업계를 선도하는 인물들을 만나서 얘기해보는 프론티어 인터뷰 시간입니다. 네, 저희 오늘은요, 이 램재단의 설립자이자 또 전 회장이었던 론웡 씨가 시작한 새로운 프로젝트죠. 프록시마 X에 대해서 좀 얘기를 나눠볼까 하는데요. 자, 스튜디오에 나와 계신 론웡 씨와 인사 나누고 시작해보도록 하겠습니다. Mr. Wong, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hello. Yeah. So before we get to the talk, would you please introduce yourself first?
Yes, my name is Ronwong. I was the president of the NAM.io Foundation and one of the founders as well. And I have since retired in April this year. And I've moved on to become, or to set up a new project that is called ProximaX. And I'm currently the CEO and founder of ProximaX.
Thank you. Well, so you've been in the field of IT for a really long time. And what motivated you to get into this blockchain industry?
Yes, all my life I've always been looking at innovative and new things.
New things.
And obviously, blockchain has, interested me quite a bit. And I was basically doing this out of retirement in about 6 years ago when I started it. That was 2013, early on in 2013. And that's how I got interested in the blockchain technology. So basically, it's the attraction of an innovative new technology that brought me into the blockchain space.
Right, I see. Well, so I'm going to ask you the question that many people actually wonder. I mean, you must have worked really hard to establish the NAM Foundation and you retired as president. What was the reason?
Well, I started off in the blockchain industry as an entrepreneur, and I actually went into the project, the NAM project, early on in 2014 as an entrepreneur. But subsequently, I have moved on and liked the project so much that I decided to put in more time and effort in bringing this project to the rest of the world, to the industry. And that's when I have decided that I should spend more time. And so what actually brought me out of this and basically early retirement and move on to ProximaX is that there is a need to further develop the ecosystem of the NAM technology and because the entire crypto space is so short of new products and services that I think that the next best thing is to actually take on a new project and keep moving because NAM is already in free motion today.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, well, so you chose to start this project after your resignation, which people won't do because if I retire, I'm going to do so much fun things. So was there a reason that you chose this way?
Well, I think one of the things is that I just can't let go of something that's so good and so great, you know, and to retire and to walk away from it.
And enjoy your life.
Yeah, but I think enjoying life has a limitation, right?
That's true.
Because after 1 month, 2 months, and then what, you know? So you find yourself in a state where you have nothing much to do, and you could end up in the wrong way, you know? So the best thing is to keep your mind moving and to go on and, you know, with the journey. Yeah.
So that was your philosophy.
That's right, yes.
Okay, I see. Well, so now let's get down to the project then. So ProximaX is built based on the NAM blockchain technology. So as a DApp platform, we might need to start like what exactly it is and what motivated you to develop this project.
Yes, early on in the development of the NAM project, that was around 2014, when I thought that just being NAM by itself, which is a very good value transfer or transaction solution, it is not good enough because then you are only addressing the financial industry, but you're not addressing all the other industries at large.
What?
So with ProximaX, what we were trying to achieve is that we need to be able to address industries where they are less regulated or not regulated at all, and to be able to bring this solution, the blockchain solution, into that space and offer them. And in fact, that space is much, much bigger than the financial industry.
Right.
So that's what the, the reason behind how this is being done. Yes.
Okay, I get it. So now let's talk about the ProximaX platforms and how are they configured and what are the roles?
Well, the ProximaX platform is basically a platform that allows us to develop applications on top
Okay.
easily. the most important word is easily. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and to be able to provision such a service, an application of any sort, easily into the industries or into the basically the application environment where users are now able to make use of these applications for their use.
Right.
So that's where ProximaX, long and short of it, in a few lines.
Yeah, I get it. Okay. Well, so how does it actually work for actual users then, like me?
Okay. Yeah. If you are using an accounting system, for example, right, you would use it based on the traditional solution where you would open up the application and key in your credit, debit, whatever you need, all your transactions on it, and then store it away in the database or a hard disk space, right?
Okay.
So on that same basis, you could actually use an application that's being developed on ProximaX to do just the same, but with added security as well as redundancy, so that there's business continuity in your organization in case your hard disk system or your server system fails, because the ProximaX is meant to be, and it is, a P2P network that's highly redundant in its storage. So this is one, right? If you look at another one would be Google Drive. If you're aware of Google Drive, they have the Google Docs, the Google Form, Google Sheets, where you can actually collaborate among your colleagues and store them in the Google Drive.
That's right.
So there's a collaborative tool where you could edit documents. So in ProximaX, you would do the same, and you would do it using the ProximaX platform, and you can actually collaborate. But the underlying difference with such a utility is that Google Docs is not private per se. If you don't encrypt those documents that you put on Google Drive, they could be looked into, hacked into, and fished out by someone, right? Whereas in the ProximaX, there's a difference in that you now cannot just hack into it and extract those files, because those files are encrypted. So that's where it is different and has more privacy to the users.
I see.
And it's permission as well. So if I decide not to share my document with you, you can't see my document.
You cannot.
At all, yes.
So what would be the ProximaX strong points? And speaking of which, I would like to ask you the more details of your 3 types of agreement protocol.
Okay. The consensus mechanism that the NAM blockchain has, the ProximaX blockchain has, is based on 3 types of protocols or proof of X, right? So one is the proof of stakes. It is basically a proof where if you hold enough stake, you are an important player in the ecosystem. The other thing is the proof of bandwidth, where if you have sufficient bandwidth, then you are an important player in the ecosystem. And finally, the last one is proof of storage space that you have, because our whole ecosystem revolves around the ability for us to deliver solutions and services based on bandwidth, based on storage, and more importantly as well, based on the amount of coins that you have, which is a stake. So what we have done is to be able to put them all together in different weightage. Say, for example, for argument's sake, the proof of storage is 20% of the entire importance of your account as a user of the ecosystem. Therefore, it will allow you a better privilege in respect of mining or harvesting those coins that come in as a transaction fee to the ecosystem. So this proof of X, I would call it, comprising of the bandwidth, storage, as well as hard disk space, constitute the consensus mechanism of what ProximaX is offering.
Consensus mechanism, I get it. Okay, well, so I heard there are a lot of the DIA projects going on inside of ProximaX. So would you be more specific about it?
Oh, yes. Yeah. you know how I have elaborated earlier with the Google Docs, the ERP. Then if you look further beyond that, you will see that you could make use of it as a know your customer solution that sits on top of the platform as well. Then you could actually do identity management, traceability, and traceability in terms of the food from the farm to the table, where you can actually, in every stage of the progress and development of a produce, gets onto the by the time it gets onto the table, that's where you have a full audit trail of it. So this is traceability. Then you would have things like ERP, as I said earlier, medical health records, IoT data records. IoT means Internet of Things, where you could extract those data and then put it onto the ProximaX platform and store in there. So extending beyond that, you will be able to make use of artificial intelligence to analyze data that are being stored in the ProximaX platform. So you can see now that we are moving away from just value transfer as opposed to what most blockchain technology today do, which is to manage the ledger of records and transactions between parties. So this is where we are moving at a tangent and serving the industries at large.
Okay. Well, so going back to this NEM Foundation talk, well, NEM got attention when this CoinCheck hack issue arose, and that's when NEM coin actually became known in the industry. So it's pretty much true that people are actually more interested in coins than the platform itself. So what's your view on it?
You know what? On the contrary, NEM claim to fame originated from Korea, South Korea.
Was it?
Yes.
Wow.
It happened a few months before the coin hack. So the coin hack actually added fuel, infamous fuel to the name of NEM.
Right.
So it all actually happened before this in Korea. And there was a huge spike a few months before that, before the hack came in.
Right.
So this is where the hack added on to the popularity of the NEM coin. So yes, obviously every in the industry, if you look at the industry at large, the entire crypto industry. Now I'm talking about crypto, not blockchain. The crypto is filled with a lot of speculators, and they will move in with whatever there is in the fundamentals of the project. And NEM as a project is fundamentally very strong and a highly so-called or more of a solution that has production quality more so than an experiment.
I see, I see. Oh, then what about ProximaX revenue model then?
Okay, this is very interesting because if you look at the blockchain industry at large, it all very much hinges on the value of the coin. Whereas what we have done is a two-pronged approach, where the value of the coin exists as per traditional method, but ProximaX approach now is more like an enterprise approach. So ProximaX as a project is also a business for profit.
Sure.
So this is where we have taken a change in direction from traditional blockchain projects, where most of these projects are based on coin ecosystem and coin tokenomics, right? Whereas now we have both the tokenomics as well as the business and enterprise business concern, which follows the mainstream business mode of operation. Yeah, so that's where we are a bit different in that sense.
I see, I see. Okay, well, so ProximaX is getting a lot of attention in the field, not to mention that because of you, a former president of NEM Foundation, but also your teammates. I heard they're amazing. It's time for you to brag.
Yes, I have been quite fortunate because along with my ambition to build ProximaX, which has been cooking in my mind for the last 3 years, I stumbled across a bright young lad. His name is Alvin, right?
Alvin.
And Alvin lives in Toronto today. and he used to work for Oracle, and he's resigned to join me.
Wow.
So his, well, I guess he believes in the project much as I believe in the project, and Elvin has done a great, great amount of work to actually put these pieces together, as in the ProximaX, to make it into a minimum viable product.
Right.
So Elvin is a key, and along with him, he has a few other core programmers, and we are actively working on that. And beyond that, I do have my own so-called management team as well, and this management team has been assembled based on my previous interactions with them, as in being colleagues as well as employees of my previous businesses. So they have come of age as well. They're mature. They are not young, which means we have got a team that has got vision, got leadership, got management experience, as well as development experience. So I'm pretty happy with the team that we have today, and I believe that with this team that I have, we should be able to move far and go beyond.
Even beyond.
Yes.
I see. Okay. Well, so how's the token economy of ProximaX is planned?
As we were talking about the DApps, the dApps,
Right.
we call it dApps,
dApps.
right? What we could do is that because we have the platform, the dApps could be implemented and put on top of the platform so that you can offer it as a service. So we call it software as a service. So if you decide that you wanted to, again, based on the same example that I was talking about, the ERP, the accounting system, if you decide that you want to use this service that is offered by company X that develop a dApp on top of the ProximaX, you could actually pay for that service. When you pay for that service, then you are creating an economy within this ecosystem where that service gets rewarded for whatever that is being offered out to the end user.
Right.
So this basically is what drives the entire economy of the token economics of the project.
I see. Okay.
Yes.
So which project is Proxima is on right now? Like, how's roadmap looking right now?
Okay, this is very interesting because both as a roadmap, as a project, as well as the business side of things, I will break them down into two parts, and I'll explain to you separately.
Sure.
So the first part is the development of applications to showcase what ProximaX can do.
Okay.
Because up until now, people are hearing a lot about ProximaX, but it's just like a Loch Ness monster. You hear a lot about it. You talk about a lot about it, but nobody ever seen it.
Nobody ever seen it.
So this is exactly what we're trying to now dispel that, So we have been busy building a few products, applications, dApp, whatever you want to call it, sitting on top of the ProximaX platform to showcase to the world, this is how it gets done, right? So one of the first projects that we are doing is KYC. And KYC, as a Know Your Customer, is a very important tool for banks, for insurance, for even ICOs, if you need to use that as a solution to help power your KYC, and that's where our solution is there to help you make use of to manage your customers. So that's one. And then, as I said earlier, the ERP, right? ERP is a longer process, but having said that, what we are actually doing now is to actually develop this ERP so that it sits on top of ProximaX, and we will make use of it to power our own accounting system within ProximaX, and to actually showcase it later when we get it working properly and correctly.
Right.
And then we also have things like traceability, as I said earlier, that we are working on for the food industry, for the agricultural industry. And the other things would be to power up things like the education and learning solution, where you make use of the storage system to store all your files and your learning materials. So these are a few things amongst many that we are developing on to actually try and showcase in the next couple of months, next 3 months or so, so that we can then now showcase to the world, this is what we can do with ProximaX, and invite more application developers to come in to develop their solutions on top of our platform and offer them as a service. So that is one part of the roadmap, immediate roadmap. And then the other part of the roadmap, which is more exciting to me, because coming from the domain as an entrepreneur, I get very excited when it comes to...
Well, we are excited to hear that too.
making this work, right? I call it the convergence of the mainstream businesses with the blockchain industry.
Right.
Previously, we are talking about ICO. It is always void of the mainstream investments. Most of the investors are crypto speculators and investors.
Yep.
And it has not gotten off so well with many regulators of the world.
That's true.
So what we really need to do now is to change the paradigm a bit and include mainstream investors to come in. And this come in the form of a convergence of offering, which is the IPO with the elements of crypto into it. And right now what we're doing is we are trying to work with a right jurisdiction in a country that is friendly to both sides of the equation.
Right.
And to be able to introduce to them and allow them to basically offer this as a new service, a new stock exchange that uses the blockchain technology to manage the so-called the central securities depository, the depository, which is the CSD, as well as the registrar. So basically, to put them all together in a blockchain and to be able to match them up with an exchange, a stock exchange, and to offer not just fiat money, but crypto in buying stock in the market. So this is fairly new, but it is, it is being talked about, being discussed. I even have written a paper on it, but it's not new in the sense that I'm not the inventor, but it's happening. And this is we're going to see a new paradigm in respect of investment coming into the blockchain space.
True. Okay.
So this is what we are working on, we are heading towards.
So this could be our last question. So since you're in Korea, so I must have to ask your view on Korean blockchain industry. How do you think of this Jeju Island?
Yes, Korean, comes out as a very conducive environment for me, and they take on to the project very seriously, and blockchain is no exception. The Jeju Island is really interesting because this is one place where it's possible for Korea to shoot into the limelight of the blockchain spaces, to be able to hit and shoot right into the forefront and establish this as an important place to be in. And Asia, right now, there are not many. In fact, there are none. Okay, some people have spoken about Singapore, but I do not believe that Singapore is still conducive because they're changing or adapting the current local laws to the blockchain environment. Whereas in a country where if they can block out an economic zone like Jeju Island, where they have their own regulatory framework that is specifically addressing the blockchain industry, that's where it should be very much more encouraging. Yes.
Okay, well, thank you. Well, this pretty much brings the closer. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.